I think I understand the safety protocols and the safety mentality very, very well. And these guys broke the rules. It's that simple.
On June 18th, 2023, 5 wealthy explorers plunged into the Atlantic, chasing the dream of witnessing the Titanic's wreckage up close. But just hours later, the OceanGate submarine imploded with unimaginable force, leaving no chance of survival. At first, the world mourned a tragic accident. But was it really an accident? Or was it the result of ignored warnings and reckless design choices? From unapproved materials to a lack of proper certifications, the OceanGate mystery is finally solved. And it's far worse than anyone imagined. The OceanGate investigation findings. On June 18, 2023, the Titan submersible, operated by OceanGate Expeditions, carried 5 people to a deep-sea expedition to view the wreck of the Titanic. They later lost contact, and later debris revealed a horrible, catastrophic implosion, killing all 5 occupants. The Titan, originally called the Cyclops II, was a 22-foot, 23,000-pound submersible constructed from carbon fiber and titanium. Notably, the carbon fiber was reportedly sourced at a discount from Boeing due to its age. It eventually raised concerns about whether it should have been used for deep-sea missions. After investigation, they realized that the Titan lacked GPS capabilities underwater and relied on text messages from the support ship for navigation. It was surprising that this kind of submarine was allowed to operate based on only text messages, and they actually sent it deep-sea diving. Its controls included a Logitech wireless game controller, and while this is unconventional, it is unprecedented in submarine operations. The dive started on June 18, 2023, with the Titan losing communication about 1 hour and 45 minutes into its descent. An international search and rescue operation was launched, but the debris wasn't found until June 22. Shortly after the Titan lost contact, the U.S. Navy detected an acoustic anomaly that is consistent with an implosion. This information was shared with the Coast Guard to aid in narrowing the search area. The mystery behind the incident became more exposed when they realized that in 2018, one of the directors of OceanGate raised concerns about the safety of the Titan's design. This included issues with the carbon fiber hull and viewport ratings. He was fired after that, but it seems like he had a point. Industry experts also warned them of these catastrophic issues, but no one listened. It became more suspicious when the Navy tried to withhold information about the acoustic anomaly that occurred. Let's take a closer look at the investigation into the OceanGate submarine mystery and what was uncovered. Expedition timeline. The OceanGate Titan submersible tragedy. In June 2023 was a major event that unfolded over a few days, causing the loss of 5 individuals aboard. The expedition started on June 16, 2023, when the submarine departed from St. John's, Newfoundland. The expedition commenced as the support vessel MV Polar Prince left Canada, carrying the Titan submersible. The aim of the mission was to explore the Titanic wreck site, located about 12,500 feet under the North Atlantic Ocean's surface. Then by 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on June 18, 2023, the Titan started its descent toward the Titanic wreck. But about 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive, the submersible lost communication with the Polar Prince, and they began to investigate the cause. By 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the Titan was scheduled to resurface, but it failed to appear, which brought up a lot of questions and worries. 2 hours and 40 minutes after, the U.S. Coast Guard was notified of the missing submersible. With the submersible missing, search and rescue operations occurred from the 19th to the 21st. An extensive search and rescue operation was launched, involving the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, Canadian Coast Guard, and other international partners. The search covered the surface and underwater areas using aircraft, ships, and remotely operated vehicles. The debris of the submarine was later discovered on June 22, 2023, about 1,600 feet from the Titanic's bow. The debris field was consistent with a major, catastrophic implosion, and this was discovered by an ROV launched from the vessel, Horizon Arctic. The Coast Guard confirmed that the debris belonged to the Titan submersible, which meant that there was a catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. According to investigations, it was revealed that the carbon fiber hull of the Titan started delamination during a previous dive, showing structural weaknesses. The tragedy also led to multiple investigations by U.S., Canadian, and French authorities. Safety measures and controls. The OceanGate Titan submersible was designed for deep-sea exploration of the Titanic wreck, but for something that was meant to go thousands of feet into the sea, it had some weird, unconventional, and probably ridiculous safety measures and controls. Due to the inability of GPS signals to penetrate deep into water, the Titan didn't have an onboard GPS system. Instead, it depended on acoustic communication with the support ship, the Polar Prince, which sent text messages providing navigational instructions. The submersible used an acoustic modem for limited text communication, which relied on proximity and signal clarity. This method was not as reliable as traditional tethered systems, and OceanGate avoided it due to entanglement risks at the Titanic site. At the time, it seemed like a good idea to use text messages with the support ship, but it eventually turned out to be bad, especially in an emergency situation like the Titan implosion. Text messages were unreliable, slow, and lacked the intricacies of direct voice communication. But it was too late once they realized what had happened. Another problem with the Titan submersible was the Logitech F710 game controller. Yes, the Titan was actually maneuvered using a wireless game controller. Although it had been modified, it still seemed ridiculous to have an entire underwater vessel powered by game controls. While the use of commercial off-the-shelf controllers is not unprecedented in submersible operations, the reliance on such a device for critical navigation tasks raised safety concerns. The Titan's hull was made of carbon fiber and titanium, a novel approach that was meant to withstand deep-sea pressure. Like any other feature of the submarine, the carbon fiber hull didn't work like they expected it to. It was reportedly past its prime since it was acquired at a discount from Boeing. They pretty much used second-hand material to make the submarine's hull. But later on, Boeing denied ever selling this kind of material to OceanGate, raising more suspicions about where they got the carbon fiber. OceanGate had also implemented a proprietary RTM system meant to detect hull stress through acoustic sensors and strain gauges. While intended to provide early warnings of structural issues, experts have criticized the system's reliability, saying that it only detects problems milliseconds before a failure. That means that they didn't get enough warning about what was going to happen to the submersible before it did happen. In emergencies, the Titan had a feature to jettison ballast weights, including sandbags with saltwater-soluble hooks that ascend to the surface. Some other measures included inflatable balloons and thrusters. But these systems couldn't work, except the vessel remained structurally intact. And as you might remember, the submarine imploded. The submersible was equipped with life support systems, which could sustain 5 individuals for up to 96 hours. It provided a limited window for rescue operations in the case of emergencies, U.S. Navy acoustic detections. Despite all the safety features of the Titan submersible, it tragically imploded during a descent to the Titanic wreck site. But shortly after the Titan lost contact, the U.S. Navy detected an acoustic anomaly that is consistent with an implosion. This detection played an important role in investigating the submersible too. The U.S. Navy operates a classified acoustic detection system that was meant to monitor underwater sounds. It's meant to track enemy submarines in the area. By June 18, 2023, the system recorded an anomaly, which was an acoustic signal consistent with an implosion or explosion. This was spotted in the vicinity where the Titan submersible was operated when communications eased. After detecting the anomaly, the Navy immediately analyzed the acoustic data and shared the findings with the incident commander of the U.S. Coast Guard. The information was not definitive, but it was very useful in narrowing the search area for the missing submersible. It allowed search and rescue teams to focus their efforts more effectively. Although the North Atlantic had challenging conditions, the information provided by the Navy's acoustic system was important in guiding the deployment of resources, which included remotely operated vehicles and support vessels, to the most probable location of the Titan's remains. On June 22, 2023, the debris from the Titan submersible was discovered approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic, at a depth of about 12,500 feet. The debris field included parts of the pressure hull, which confirmed that there was a catastrophic implosion. Recently released U.S. Coast Guard footage captured the moment the sound of the implosion was heard on the support vessel. Polar Prince and Rush's wife Wendy reacted to a loud bang. The audio coincided with the sub losing contact and tracking. The incident shows the importance of advanced acoustic monitoring systems in maritime operations and the value of different agencies collaborating during search and rescue missions. Raising safety concerns. There were a lot of safety concerns that were foreseen by experts concerning the Titan submersible. For one, the OceanGate chose not to have the Titan certified by recognized maritime safety organizations, and argue that such processes hindered innovation. This decision attracted a lot of criticism from employees because they were worried about the safety standards of the vessel. In 2018, David Lockridge, who was the director of marine operations at OceanGate, raised significant safety concerns regarding the Titan submersible. His warnings were dismissed, but everyone realized that he knew what he was saying when the Titan later exploded in 2023. Lockridge's apprehensions were based on several critical aspects of Titan's design. He noted that there was no non-destructive testing on the carbon fiber hull, which is meant to detect potential flaws like voids or delaminations that could compromise structural integrity under deep-sea pressures. What's more, the submersible's acrylic viewport was certified, but this was only for depths significantly shallower than those Titan was meant to reach. He raised a lot of concerns and questions about whether this submersible could withstand pressures at the Titanic wreck site. OceanGate was meant to depend on real-time acoustic monitoring to detect hull issues. Lockridge argued that this system might only provide warnings milliseconds before a catastrophic failure, and this meant there wasn't enough time for corrective action. He recommended that the Titan should go through recognized certified bodies, such as the American Bureau of Shipping. But the OceanGate declined, suggesting that these protocols would hinder innovation. But after Lockridge submitted his report, OceanGate didn't listen to him. Instead, they terminated him from his position. OceanGate filed a lawsuit against him, saying that he had disclosed confidential information. Lockridge countered them with a wrongful termination suit, asserting that his dismissal was just retaliation for voicing safety concerns. Both parties eventually settled the dispute out of court. Lockridge also filed a complaint with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, but the case later closed without the need for a formal investigation. In the wake of the 2023 Titan disaster, Lockridge's earlier warnings have been revisited. He testified before a U.S. Coast Guard Marine Board of Investigation, saying that the tragedy might have been averted if his concerns were addressed. The situation shows how important it is to heed expert safety warnings. It was too late for OceanGate to obey these warnings once the Titan exploded, and his warnings then became under the spotlight after the incident happened, causing many to question OceanGate and why they ignored him. Industry warnings. As the OceanGate submarine mystery finally unravels, it was discovered that it wasn't only David Lockridge that warned them about the safety issues. The Marine Technology Society also warned OceanGate, but with no response. The MTS, which consists of a consortium of industry experts, expressed their unanimous concern regarding the OceanGate development of the Titan submersible and its planned Titanic expedition. They claimed that OceanGate's approach was purely experimental and would lead to outcomes from minor issues to catastrophic failures, affecting the entire industry. The main concern of these experts was that OceanGate decided not to seek third-party certification for the Titan. The company claimed in marketing materials that the submersible even exceeds DNV-GL safety standards. But instead, they had not even taken the vessel to get assessed by the organization. The MTS recommended that OceanGate should at least institute a prototype testing program that will be reviewed and witnessed by DNV-GL. Despite all these warnings, OceanGate proceeded without going through the third-party certification. The company's CEO, Stockton Rush, believed that industry standards were stifling innovation. In a 2021 interview, Rush stated, "I've broken some rules to make the Titan. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me." OceanGate's approach to safety and certification remained a point of contention within the industry. The company's decision to forego third-party certification and rely on internal assessments was seen by many as a deviation from established safety protocols. This stance, combined with the use of experimental materials like carbon fiber for the pressure hull, raised red flags among experts. It was surprising that the Titan submersible was allowed to go deep-sea exploring without any third-party certifications, especially after many experts had repeatedly warned that more had to be done to make it safe. Debris discovery. On June 22, 2023, the Coast Guard found a debris field about 500 meters northeast of the Titanic's bow, containing critical components of the submersible. The debris included the tail cone, forward and aft end bells, all of which are integral parts of the pressure vessels designed to protect occupants from the immense pressures of the deep ocean. The implosion happened at an estimated depth of 3,300 meters, where the external water pressure is about 6,000 pounds per square inch. Shockingly, this is equal to the weight of the Eiffel Tower pressing on a surface. At such depths, any structural failures can lead to an implosion, where the hull collapses inward at speeds of up to 2,420 kilometers per hour. In fact, the Titan could have collapsed in just 1 millisecond, which is far too quickly for human perception or reaction. According to investigations, the Titan's carbon fiber hull might have been compromised because of the previous stress and damage. During its 80th dive in June 2022, the submersible experienced a loud acoustic event as it ascended. This was later identified as delamination, which is the separation of the carbon fiber layers. Then, the submarine continued to go deeper into the water, leading to its final, fatal dive. The use of carbon fiber in the Titan's construction was unconventional for deep-sea submersibles, which typically employ materials like titanium or steel, known for their uniform strength under pressure. Carbon fiber, while strong in certain applications, can suffer from microscopic water ingress and progressive failure over time, especially under the cyclic pressures of deep-sea dives. The U.S. Navy detected an acoustic anomaly consistent with an implosion shortly after the Titan lost contact, and this information was later shared with the Coast Guard. But the support ship didn't have enough time to help once the warning signal was sent before the submarine exploded. Navy keeps secrets. In the aftermath of the Titan submersible tragedy, There has been a lot of criticism over how the U.S. Navy handled the acoustic data that indicated the implosion after the vessel lost contact. Despite the early detection, the Navy's decision to withhold public disclosure of the acoustic anomaly raised a lot of questions. The Navy officials claimed that the data was not definitive, and the decision was made to continue the search and rescue mission in hopes of saving lives. The acoustic signature was meant to suggest an implosion, but there was no conclusive evidence, so they expected that those in the submarine were still alive. The delay in publicizing the acoustic findings led to a global search operation that captivated media attention and involved significant resources. Critics argue that earlier disclosure might have tempered public expectations and redirected efforts more efficiently. However, the Navy and Coast Guard maintained that the priority was to exhaust all possibilities for a successful rescue, given the uncertainties surrounding the acoustic data. As investigations continue, the focus remains on understanding the sequence of events and ensuring that future missions prioritize safety and transparency. The tragedy underscores the complexities of deep-sea exploration and the critical importance of timely and accurate information sharing among all stakeholders involved. Financial implications. The U.S. Coast Guard's response to the OceanGate Titan submersible disaster actually incurred an estimated cost of about $1.2 million. This figure was reported by The Washington Post, accounting for expenses up to June 23, 2023, and does not include the later recovery operations and work done by other agencies and partners. The search operation was a massive international effort involving multiple agencies, including the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, Canadian Coast Guard, and private entities. The search area spanned thousands of square miles in the North Atlantic, with depths reaching approximately 4 kilometers. Aircraft such as the P-3 Orion, P-8 Poseidon, and C-130 Hercules were deployed, each incurring significant operational costs estimated at tens of thousands of dollars per hour. Despite the substantial expenses, the U.S. Coast Guard is generally prohibited by federal law from seeking reimbursement for search and rescue operations. As stated by maritime law attorney Stephen Kuerting, the Coast Guard, as a matter of both law and policy, does not seek to recover the costs associated with search and rescue from the recipients of those services. This policy underscores the agency's commitment to prioritizing human life over financial considerations. What do you think about the OceanGate Titan submarine disaster? Could this tragedy have been stopped? Or was it doomed from the start? Let's know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it.